Hey everyone, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. Welcome to God of War Ragnarok, and we are going to talk about armor today. We're going to talk about several sets you can get in the game and what some of my favorites are. We're going to show you where we can get them, tell you how we can get them, and we're going to do that without any major story spoilers. So the first set I want to talk about is this one right here, and that is Nidavelir's Finest. So this is a great early game armor that you can obtain in Schvartalheim. And the way you get it is you when you first arrive at Schvartalheim, you've got some stuff you got to do and all that. Well, you reach a point after you go through Nidavellir, which is the city there, where you clearly have an option to continue with the main story or to do some side missions. And I won't even go into detail about the side missions or anything about that. But that is where you get this armor, is by completing the side mission. So if you go ahead and do all that first, you'll get some materials that you can bring back to Sindri. He will make you this set of armor, and it's a great set of armor. Look what it does for you. So this I've leveled it up to level 4, of course, but by stun grabbing an enemy with the R3 button, you get a health burst, which is nice. Anytime you can get a little health in the game is great, especially when you're getting overwhelmed with several enemies. This thing will proc very often during combat with a lot of enemies, especially if you keep hitting that stun grab button. You know, you get these guys knocked down. The wrist armor, this one's level 5, stun drain reduction. So this and the waist armor, these two combined, make the stun bar drain at half the speed. So it's 100% longer it takes for them to drain. So you can stun a guy, stun another guy, go back to the first one, finish him, and then finish the other one with this full set of armor. So it's a fantastic armor. Highly recommend it. Very easy to get early game, to be honest with you. It's not a challenging armor to get. So before you move on in the story and head into further into Schvartalheim, go ahead and do these missions and get this armor. Plus, it's pretty cool looking, right? Not a bad looking set of armor at all. Now let's move on to the next one. All right, so the next set we're going to talk about can be obtained in Alfheim, and it is the Radiant set. Now, this one, it's cool looking and all that, but it didn't particularly suit my playstyle. The evasive focus, moderate luck chance to grant a blessing of runic on any last second evade. So I guess, it does have its place. I still prefer the Nidavellir set over this one, just because it suits my playstyle a little bit more. But as you can see, that's the main thing that the chest piece does, and then the wrist and the waist armor, creates this the realm shift, which slows things down. So it can be useful. You can slow down time for 1 second with one piece, or 1.75 seconds with two pieces. So not quite double, but still. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but in game time, a couple seconds or even 1 and 3/4 seconds can mean a difference between taking a hit or dealing a killing blow. And again, it's a sharp looking set. I do dig it, but I really haven't messed around with it too much. I might put it on, and once I get to Muspelheim, that's where the fun's going to begin. Because then I can really start comboing out these different armor sets with runic attacks and so forth and so on to see what really pops and what really is a lot of fun for the end game. Let's move on to the next set. Oh yeah, and I failed to mention this. This set is obtained again in Alfheim after you finish up with your main quest there, and you have the option to either leave Alfheim or to go ahead and do some side quests, which I think one of them is called Secret in the Sands. Again, no giveaways or anything like that. But if you want this set of armor and a lot of other great stuff, including some cool side quests, go ahead and get off the beaten path a little bit and do these side quests in Alfheim, because it will be a huge help. And it's off like in this barren sand area right when you finish up. So I highly recommend doing those. That way you can obtain this set of armor and some other goodies, and it'll help you in your general game along the way. All right, so we are in Vanaheim now, and we obtained a new set of armor here. As you can see, it's really sharp looking with that red color on it. Um, Pretty badass overall. This is called Lunda's Lost set, and as you can see, it's got the three pieces as always. So this set I haven't used yet, and I really want to mess with it because it's got some fantastic things with it. So barehanded attacks, parrying and blocking have a high luck chance to deal bonus damage and poison enemies, which lowers their power level. So I don't know if you've come across this yet, but if an enemy's low, poisoned, their level drops, making them a little easier to deal with. They deal less damage, they take more damage, and it's a great way for Kratos to take on some heftier opponents that he might not be able to handle. Um, if they're remain at their current level. And again, this is done with side quests. Lunda, you'll meet Lunda, and she's the one that will send you off on your way. And there's a pretty big area you can explore, and a lot of great stuff you can get in there, just like in Schwartelheim and Alfheim. And as always, unless you just want to burn through the story real quick and get to the end, stop, do some side quests, and get this amazing set of armor. So that's what the chest does. The damage increase with one or two pieces either increases to 20 or 40% your melee attacks against poisoned enemies. So that's pretty devastating, if you think about it. Highly recommend this set. Go on and get it. All right, so check out this next set. This next set is one I personally like to use quite a bit, and this is the Raven Tier set. So the way you obtain this is by killing Odin's ravens that you find around the different realms. They're the green ravens. You can always hear them call out. You need to kill a total of 18 of these to collect this armor. And the way you collect this armor is as each six that you get grants you a piece of it. So once you have 18, you can get all three pieces, but you can pick up one or two pieces, along the way. But you go to Niflheim, and just past Brock and Niflheim, there's a big tree full of the spirits of the ravens and six chests. And depending on the amount of ravens you've killed, that will allow you to open these various chests. So be diligent. Whenever you see one of these ravens, take it out if you can. There are a couple you'll come across. I came across a couple in Schwartelheim that I'm unable to take out yet, but by the time I got to, I think it was Vanaheim, I was able to obtain this. I had killed 18 ravens. So let's look at what it does. Hitting enemies has a low luck chance to grant a healing miss. So low luck is not great, but considering how often you're hitting enemies, especially in mob combat, that's quite a bit. So you're going to be constantly getting a healing mist pop up. And right here, 15 to 30% more healing, depending on whether or not you have one or two of these equipped. So definitely a cool combo. It also works for health stones, for rage, and of course the actual gear bonus you get from this. So this one, my favorite so far. Although, like I said, I might switch over to that other one, that Lundy set, because that looks pretty cool too. And I think I got one more to go over, maybe two. All right, the next armor we're going to talk about, you get on your first, when you finally get access to Midgard and the Lake of the Nine, the frozen Lake of the Nine. So there's a whole quest about it that basically has the name of the armor in it. Do that quest, and you will end up with this awesome set of armor. This is the Guiding Light armor set. So as you can see, it is a moderate luck chance on any hit to increase strength, runic, and luck of one of Kratos' weapons. So any hit and a moderate chance for all those things, that's outstanding. Now if you combine it with the wrist and waist armor, that base chance goes to 4 and 8%. So pretty solid. And considering how much damage you're dealing out and how many hits you're laying down, it's going to proc, and you're going to have the ability to do this. Now, you want to do this, you can do this before there's a main quest goal in this area. you can access this prior to that, and I highly recommend doing that because it might come in handy on the next part of your main quest, which is pretty useful, you know. So there's that. So these are several of the armors you can get, one in basically each area of the game that I've reached so far. As we continue to move forward, we'll get a couple more. I'm sure that will probably dwarf these, but let's take a look at one more set of armor before we move on. And you might laugh at it, but you know, we'll take a look at it anyway. Yes, here we are with Kratos' starting armor, his survival armor. It doesn't have any special abilities to it, doesn't do anything special, but from my understanding, and I'm gonna keep upgrading it as we go along. I understand that the stat boosts that it gives you are going to be pretty incredible, and I think this thing gets to be a little special the higher level it gets. So I do want to keep an eye on this, and I highly recommend you guys do the same. If you got some leftover, you know, it's cheap to upgrade and all that. So if you got some leftover parts and all that and hack silver, go ahead and upgrade this and keep upgrading it until you get to the end game just to see how cool it is. But I've heard good things about it. I didn't pay too close of attention. I just heard don't sleep on this armor. So I'm going to tell you guys the same thing. I am slowly, I'm working on my main armors that I love right now, but I'm slowly working on this one to get it high up there and just to see how it does. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. If you found this useful at all, please leave a like on the video and a sub to the channel. Would be greatly appreciated. I'll see y'all next time. Until then, peace.